Hello everybody, Titania here with the Tarot with Titania reading of the week for September, I think we're actually into October 1st through to the 8th. Okay, I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes, pull yourself into the present moment and be here now. Just see a tree root coming out of the base of your spine, grounding you deep into Mother Earth. Knowing that that tree root is not only anchoring you in your now in a beautiful way, but it's also a channel through which anything that no longer serves you can easily and effortlessly get passed down into Mother Earth and become compost for new growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here to do a reading for our collective highest and greatest benefit for this week. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information that we most need to receive right now, and to provide that in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our collective highest and greatest good, and the greatest good of our beautiful planet. I call upon my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening, as well as an overlighting angel of communication, to be present and facilitate this exchange and ensure that it all happens in the best way possible in the time that we have together, and that we address what is uppermost in our collective heart and mind at this time, that we get what we need. I'd also like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, creating a sacred container across time and space of light, of love, of healing, of transformation, of clarity, of inspiration, of all the good that is in our hearts. May it be addressed, may it be seen, may it be evoked. May we become all that we are destined to become. Anything that doesn't match these high frequencies of love and light is welcome to go now. Alrighty. These are guyland flowers from my garden. I'm going to eat them for lunch, but I thought you might appreciate that we have an edible floral arrangement here today. Okay. One that's escaped the vase. Amazing how beautiful it is, eh? Vegetables. The flowers that they create. I love plants, gardens. Makes me happy. Okay, enough about me and my love of gardens and pretty things. Let's get to the reading of the week. So what do we need to know collectively for our highest and greatest good? We are now in the season of autumn, which is the energy of inward turning. It's a good time for us to take good care of ourselves and to go maybe a little slower, a little more inward, a little more gently, giving ourselves time to rest. It's interesting because it's around the equinoxes, the change of the season like this, that a lot of various bugs and flus and that kind of thing can happen, colds. So it's a good time to just be mindful of that and take extra precautions to take care of yourself. Make sure you're getting enough vitamin C and vitamin D and zinc and all those good things, as well as enough rest. And of course, exercise, but maybe not extreme exercise, but just getting your system circulating so you're clearing and moving and continuing to be well. Just some thoughts for the change of the season for you. Okay, and here we go into our reading of the week. Okay. Recent past, the influence is waning, but it continues into our present, into our future. We have the Queen of Wands. So this is the feminine generative energy. So the wands are all about creativity, inspiration, and passion, and the Queen is the feminine iteration of that quality, sort of somebody who really understands the importance of creative generative energies and knows how to leverage it in a good way, not only for her own good, but for the good of her community. And so this is interesting because, the message that keeps coming back is doing what's in front of us in a good way to the best of our ability, giving our attention to the creative projects or that which is sparking our passion, our inspiration. This is what we're drawing on this week, is the wisdom and the healing and the transformation, the power that comes from when we do our good work in a good way. We can leverage our energy into our present, into our future from this foundation. So it's very much about this being in that generative, creative space, and exploring what that brings us and allowing ourselves to be there. And it's like making art or working on a project or anything, but really following your intuition and your inner voice around it. And again, basking in that energy and allowing yourself to do it well, because that is deeply nourishing for the self, and it's also deeply nourishing for the community, for all of us, because we are sharing a collective consciousness. That deep nourishment is supportive and transformative for all of us. It helps to keep us in a good space. And we need all that good energy, right? So know that when you're giving your energy, your time, and attention to something that you love and it's inspiring to you, it's something that's benefiting all of us, because you're adding to that collective well-being and that collective state of generative co-creative energy, which is wonderful. And I believe too, we've been asked to visualize what it is that we want. We need to be staying in a channel of creative visualization for the kind of future we want to be experiencing. And of course, it's going to be different for all of us, but really giving ourselves the challenge of staying positive, of staying focused on the good. If we collectively are pulling our future towards us, what kind of future do we want that to be? Do we want it to be some kind of crazy Mad Max dystopian reality? Or do we want it to be something beautiful and uplifting, where all of us are working together and co-creating together and making the world more beautiful, more healthy, where we're all striving for the good, and not only in our own expression, but supporting each other and expressing what it is that each of us is here to do? I think there's some phenomenal ways for us to tap into that lighter, brighter energy and to help us to pull it onto the planet at this time. So this is part of the challenge of this card, is leveraging that energy, letting our imaginations fuel the future, pulling towards us what is good. But to do that, we have to unplug from negative sources. We need to be unplugging from these stories, these catastrophic stories, these fear-based narratives. There's just like so much that goes on that is not nourishing the good within us, that is not nourishing our creativity, our generative qualities. So maybe just disengaging from some of those things and coming back to your center, coming back to your heart, coming back to your reality right here, right now, and focusing on making your life and your offering to life as beautiful and as whole and uplifting as you can. The present card, we have the card of passage. So this movement from a time of tumultuousness to a time of peace, but it's sort of an imposed peace, because the rudder and the mast was broken on the boat in the storm. So they have no choice but to go with the flow. There is a river of energy that we are all part of, and there is a momentum that is carrying us. We're part of so much more than we realize. We have the influence of the regions of space that we're traveling through, and planets and all of that kind of stuff. I know it sounds very woo-woo, but it's just like gravity, or it's like the full moon, and how there's more emergency visits and more calls to police around the time of the full moon. These astral bodies have an impact on us. It's just we're part of Earth. We're part of the living organism that is this planet, and we're moving through a different region of space all the time, our solar system, our galaxy, and there's change happening here. So what I'm coming to with that information is trusting the flow, trusting that we're being taken where we want to be going, especially if we're feeding it good energy. We can relax knowing that we're moving in a good direction when we are giving it our best, our love, our attention, our will, our focus on the good. That's really, really helpful. And so this energy in the present is this energy of just go with the flow, like ride the wave, be in that energy state of flow. We're being taken where we want to go. If we look at the boat here, they've noticed there's another ship nearby, and they're signaling the ship. And here's the dove, and here's the rainbow, which of course from the Bible stories is the sign after Noah's Ark of the covenant between the divine and humanity, that they would never go through anything like that again. I guess we just keep going through different kinds of things. But isn't a deluge at any rate. Although around here it's supposed to deluge the next couple of days. So this idea in our present moment of relaxing into the flow. A friend of mine talks about jumping into the middle of the river and seeing who else is there, just floating down the river together and trusting the energy and the flow of this time that we're living through. And again, giving your energy to the good, giving the energy to what you know in your heart is appropriate and right and beautiful and uplifting, and letting yourself feed that. So this is the energy in our present. The near future, we have the joy card. Well, these are really nice cards. This idea of just going with the flow, trusting that the good that we're putting into the world is helping to nourish the good, that we're part of the solution. So this card in the near future is this idea of joy, of simplicity, of peace. Here we have 3 children and they're playing together, the 2 older ones taking care of the little one. And there's roses, which is the symbol of love, and there's flowers, and there's sunshine, and it's a beautiful day, and it's just a lovely, simple thing. So this near future, this coming week, this idea of simplicity, of beauty, again, this idea of beauty and the importance of beauty, creating beauty, focusing on beauty, making beauty, paying attention to beauty, letting beauty uplift and expand us and get us into that beautiful state. That, I think, is the gift of beauty, is it opens us to wonder. It opens us to love. It transforms us when we stand in front of something truly beautiful like a sunrise or a sunset or any other magnificent experience. It opens our heart. It opens who we are. And it's easier to find that state of joy and that state of appreciation. This energy, this near future, this week, is this focusing on the good. Letting it open your heart, letting yourself experience joy. Again, maybe unplugging from things that are not bringing you to joy and that are causing resistance and causing struggle and suffering. We get to choose where we're putting our energy and our attention. And so if you're focusing things that are causing you pain and struggle, I think you need to reevaluate that, because you're not adding anything good to life when you're operating in that state. We offer the best to life when we focus on the good. Even in the midst of the greatest challenges, there's always good to be focused on. There's always love. There's always triumph. There's always victory. There's always transcendence. That's where we need to be giving our energy to. And also this idea of simplicity and joy and it doesn't have to be complicated. Our appreciation and gratitude for the simplicity and the beauty and the joy and the good things in our life is really, again, nourishing not only for ourselves, but nourishing for the collective, for all of us. When there's enough of us in that good space, it really is helpful to everyone who might be in a place of suffering. We're helping to tip the scales. Okay, the foundation card for this week is the Queen of Hearts. Why we are having this reading, what is the energy sort of underlying the reading this week, is this energy of the Queen of Hearts. So we have 2 queens, very much this feminine energy. And as I've been doing these readings for the past, I don't know how long it is now, 20 months, there's this strong sense and this, not only my own incoming messages, but also the messages that I'm getting from other teachers, other guides, other sources of light on the planet. We're talking about the trend, this movement from the masculine into the feminine, and there's this river is very feminine. We're moving in the direction of a co-creative, collaborative future. It's very feminine in quality in the sense that it is collaborative. It is about co-creating. It is about the win-win-win. It is about taking care of everyone. It is about taking care of our planet. It is about taking care of our children. These are very, very important themes, and that's very much the energy of the feminine. It's no longer about domination over or control over or what can I get out of this and how do I profit regardless of who I step on. That is the old paradigm that is slowly crumbling and falling away, and we're watching the death throes of that paradigm go through its motion to try and hold on to power. We're moving out of that. We're moving into this feminine, this state of grace, this state of beauty, this state of presence, of simplicity, of joy, of the greater good for ourselves. And knowing that when we honor what is for the greater good of ourselves, we're also honoring what is for the greater good of the collective. Because we're each unique individuals having our unique experience, and we're here to be that unique light on the planet. And when we are honoring that, our light shines brightly, and others are given permission to shine their light brightly in their unique way. The diversity of humanity is our beauty and our strength, and the thing that will move us forward in a good way. Nature is highly diverse. That's how she thrives and survives and perseveres. And humanity, as a child of nature, is the same thing. We can't expect everyone to be the same or to do the same things or be the same way. That's just not how we're created. We're part of nature, and nature isn't like that. So that honoring of our diversity, of our uniqueness and our beauty, and understanding that unique beauty is something that is precious and wonderful and necessary for all of us. is part of what we need to be holding. So this, the Queen of Hearts. Now hearts, the hearts in my deck is all about that emotional state, of course, hearts, emotions. But the Queen of Hearts, she's a very nurturing energy. This is very much this idea of nurturing the beautiful, nurturing the good, mothering, not in a smother kind of way, but mothering, parenting, drawing out the good in our young, the good in our world, and overseeing it in a loving, kind way, nourishing the good, intuiting the good, tapping into those feminine qualities of intuition and connection and relationship. This is the foundation of the reading for this week. It's dropping into relationship, but really from that feminine place of honoring each other and evoking the best in each other. This keeps coming up. This has been a past few weeks, this idea of how do we see, evoke, affirm and evoke the highest and best in each other. And it's very much what this card is all about. Using our good grounded energy, our loving energy, our kindness, our willingness to be a better human being, to foster good relationships with others, to see, affirm, and evoke the best in others, and including ourselves. We have a lot of good energy behind us. There's a lot of really phenomenal momentum that is carrying us right now. And when we align with it, everything lines up and goes more beautifully, more smoothly, more effectively. And that's what we're called to. Line up with the energy, get into the flow. Get into the flow and you'll experience the joy. Get into the flow and you'll experience the ease and the well-being and the beauty and the simplicity. That's what we're moving towards. When we line up with it, everything becomes easier. Everything becomes more transcendent and graceful and magnificent, really. So very much these energies of the feminine this week, tapping into that feminine energy and maybe exploring what that means to you. So that's pretty clear and very lovely. I have to say these cards are beautiful. This idea of this generative creative quality, focusing on the beauty, focusing on the good. What is the light that we want to bring to the planet? How do we want to manifest into the world? What kind of world do we want to create for ourselves and our children, our children's children, and generations onward? We have a responsibility to them. We need to dream this well. The energy of flow, of passage, of moving from a tumultuous time into a time of more ease and grace, but it really is about surrendering. This isn't about trying to control it. This isn't about trying to dominate it. That's the old paradigm, remember. We're getting into the flow. We're aligning our heart, mind, energy field with the flow of energy that's happening on the planet right now. Great way to do it, of course, meditation, any kind of movement practice that brings you into the now moment. That's what we need to be doing, getting into this surrendered flow state and knowing that everything is working for our highest and greatest good, because we're holding such good energy. Near future, this simplicity, this beauty, this ease, this moving in a good way, to be like children again, that simplicity of life as a child. Inclusive, right? All the kids are playing together despite being different ages. There's that lovely quality of coming together and making life more beautiful together. And then the foundation card is the Queen of Hearts, this lovely, again, very feminine energy, but this nurturing the good, nurturing the best in ourselves and in each other, being kind with each other, being compassionate, being loving, holding the best, understanding we're not all here to do the same thing. And even if you don't want to do what somebody else is doing, it's okay. You don't have to do what somebody else is doing. But allowing them to do what they need to do for their highest and greatest good is important. That can be challenging because we all have ideas about that, but understanding we're all here having a different experience, having a different journey on this planet, and the higher aspect of that, or the other octave of that, is do no harm unto others. Just because you feel called to something does not mean that that's appropriate for the person next to you. There are things that we need to take care of and take responsibility of in our own field. It's very much a time of us rising up and taking responsibility for our health, for our thoughts, for our intentions, for how we're being in the world. How are we taking care of this planet? We can't expect somebody else to figure it out. We can't give our power over anymore. We have to hold our power and be our power and live it into the world in a good way. But understanding that fundamentally this do no harm, this premise of do no harm, when we hold that, it transforms everything. And we live differently when we come from that place. So holding this as we go forward. This is this lovely, soft, very welcoming, nurturing, supportive energy to this week. That this is the energy of the set point, the feeling of it. I hope I articulated it clearly enough for you. Okay, so I like this reading. It feels good, especially because it's been feeling, up and down and all around, and I'm ready for some good stuff, and I bet you are too. So that's why we need to give our energy and our life force to crafting that and creating it and pulling it into the world. So let's pull our card to grow on, the summary card that will be our visual anchor or thought anchor for the coming week. What do we need to know? Summarized in one card, Creator. What can we carry with us this week to help us be our highest and best, to shine our brightest, and to be the best version of ourselves that we can be? And the card to grow on it, is the Death card. I love this card. Okay, so death, yes, is the ultimate transition. It's the ultimate transformation. It's the ultimate change. We see here we have cocoons at the bottom of this card, which become butterflies, of course. And so how we need to go forward this week is there will be endings. There continue to be endings. That's how life is. There are beginnings and there are the in-between parts, and then there are endings. But those endings are never an absolute. They're always a transformation to something new. Even when somebody that we love and that who's close to us passes, this is still an opening to a new way of being on the planet. And yes, it means that they're not necessarily here with us embodied, but those that we've loved are always with us. They always share a field with us. They're always part of us. And that continues. So with this week, our card to grow in this idea of death, of the profound transformation. It's making friends with this part of our lives and our experience as a human being, because this is nature. This is what it means to be embodied. Things begin, change, grow, evolve, and eventually cease to be and transition, become a new form of energy. But nothing is ever wasted. Nothing is ever lost. It's all so beautiful when we give ourselves a chance to look at it. And our fear of death, our collective fear of death on this planet right now, especially in the Western world, is crippling us. It's dominating us and making us deeply fearful so that we're not even living life anymore. We really need to change this. We need to come from a place of embracing the beauty of our life right here, right now, knowing that it is changing. It is always going to alter and become different. And that's why each moment is so fleeting and so beautiful and so unique. And so giving ourselves the gift of being here as much as possible and being in appreciation of that experience is what is to be done. And letting this, not fear, but awareness, this awareness of the transitory quality of life and nature, letting that inform us so that we are more present, so that we are more conscious and intentional and just present, aware, here, now, enjoying who we have near us and the beauty that surrounds us. And of course, in the season of autumn is the fall. This is the withdrawal of life inward. The leaves of the trees drop and the energy goes down into the trunk and into the roots of the tree, and plants wither down to the ground. And there's that ending quality that happens at this time of year. And so, paying attention to that, honoring the cycles of life, honoring the cycles of the season, honoring the symbolism of these things, and bringing it in when we own this our place in nature, when we own our connection to nature. And that's why honoring the change of the seasons is so profound and helps us to connect with the cycles of nature and allows us to relax into those cycles of nature instead of trying to resist them and push against them and try to be outward and shiny that like we are in the summer in the middle of the winter. It's not appropriate. To everything there is a season, and flowing with that energy is what is important to be done. And so this is what this card is all about. It's all about this appreciation for the ephemeral quality of life, appreciating it wherever it is, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, understanding it's not going to be like that forever. It will change. And connecting to the seasons, connecting to this beautiful planet. This is one way that we as humanity, we've become so separate. We live in our heated homes with our electricity, etc., and we've lost the flow and connection to nature. But by intentionally honoring the seasons, we can bring more awareness to this and more intention to this. Becoming aware of the phases of the moon is another great thing to do, especially as women, because our menstrual flow tends to connect with that lunar cycle. And we can understand ourselves better and know what we need, because of course we're different throughout our cycle. We as women have a bit of an edge over men in this regard. They have their own cycles, but we have a very clear one that is connected to the moon, connected to the seasons. And if we begin to understand it, it's information that we can use for a more harmonious and balanced and comfortable life, a greater sense of well-being and a knowingness of who we are. There's a lot here. It's a very, very lovely card. So I would encourage you. I mean, we just had the autumn equinox, but as you move around in your world, looking at giving attention to the energy of the season, recognizing the changing of the leaves and the acorns falling off the trees, and seek to incorporate more of a local, seasonal way of being into your life. I mean, we can do this through our food. We can do this by bringing in some of the leaves from outside and having them in our home to remind us of the nature outside and the change of the seasons. But this honoring and celebrating, and almost a ceremonial, almost a ritual kind of way of being, bringing that awareness, bringing greater awareness to our participation in life and all of the cycles of life and the beauty of that and the change. That is always a new beginning. Every death is a new beginning, and it's important to keep holding that. It's not the end, because when we think of that in that way, we go into deep fear, and there's no need to be in fear. I believe, we are endless beings. We go on beyond these bodies. We have the experience of being here in this body at this time, and it's beautiful. And then we move on when the time is right to go on and have another experience. But the energy of who we were continues, and it's beautiful. So transcending the three-dimensional idea of what endings are, what death is, and moving into a fifth dimensional understanding that we are all part of this beautiful, this web of life, and it's all perfect, and going with the flow of it, honoring it, being part of it, being in the harmonious energy with it. That's what we need to do, loving it all the way. I hope that was helpful to you. I wish you a beautiful week. Creator, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to do this good work. Thank you for this opportunity to connect with each and every one of you every week. I love and appreciate you. I honor you for who you are, for the light that you are, the unique being that you are. I love what you are bringing to life, wherever it is, wherever you are at, whether it's joyful, whether it's challenging. You are an important part of our collective experience at this time, and I'm grateful for you. Have a beautiful week. Much love and light. Thank you to all those who helped us to hold this space today. The reading is at an end, and so it is. Lots of love. Bye for now.